If you're investing in real estate, whether it's in Dubai or anywhere in the world, just be careful of these 7 things before investing. My name is Naeem Sharif. I'm the founder and CEO of 1416. Like, subscribe and share and stay tuned for more. Always really important that we look for the developer's track record, whether that's here in the country that they're investing in or abroad. I think a lot of developers now come to the market and think it's basically a subcontracting game. They can do a big development, do a big marketing campaign, and then look at subcontracting the contractor out and just get away with it. At the end of the day, what we're buying is an asset for 50, 60, 70 years. We're not buying gold, we're not buying silver that we're just trying to trade. So when we're looking into the developer, look at what they've done. Are they worthy, firstly in the UAE? If they are worthy in the UAE, brilliant. If not, fine. Where do they have a track record? Have they built what they're saying they're going to build over here somewhere else in the world? It might actually be better that they built it somewhere else because it might be harder to build over there and they're bringing those skills over here as well. For example, a developer that comes to mind is BT Properties. They've never actually built anything in the UAE or Dubai before, but they are one of the largest land developers in Pakistan and Asia. So you know they've got the track record, you know they've got the capabilities of not only doing the build, but also the aftercare service and looking after their clients. Secondly, unrealistic price comparisons compared to the area. This is key. No matter what you do, always go back to the data. What are the price comparisons? Is your price per square foot right compared to comparable products in the area? Obviously, some products are going to be slightly more because they're offering slightly more in terms of amenities and in terms of value within the product. But at the end of the day, a building is a building because you're buying somewhere to live or buying somewhere for people to live in. So it's all well and good having all the amenities in the world, but if your price per square foot of the actual facility that you're living in is not comparable to the rest of the area, are you paying too much? Are you going to be stung in the future? This is something definitely to take into consideration. Next one, poor payment plan structure. Payment plans are very dependent on the developer and it's used as a way to entice people into a project. For example, here in the UAE, Emaar, probably one of the biggest sort of reputation developer, offer you 80-20 payment plan. So that means 80% during construction, 20% on completion. This makes sense, especially if it's your first investment, because you know you're buying into something stable. But what it does mean is, don't be buying this product if you're looking to flip it on handover, because you're going to be in for 80% of capital. When you look at other projects from other slightly less known developers, we can get payment plans like 35, 65, 40, 60. These are the payment plans that we need to look at depending on what your strategy is. So as well as looking at the developer track record, as well as looking at the price per square foot of the area, then we look at the payment plan to make sure it fits your strategy depending on what you're trying to do. Weak rental yield potential. This again comes down to what your strategy is. Are you looking to buy this unit, hold it until handover, and then look to rent it out? If you're doing that, and especially if you're looking at getting it on a mortgage, what is the rental potential of that area? Are you going to be able to achieve the rent that you're expecting to achieve? Do the comparables match up to that area? If it's a new area that you're investing into, for example, the Heights, for example, Dubai Islands, that's fine. It makes sense that we won't necessarily have the rental data to back it up, but is there data around waterfront communities? Is there data about one beds within that area that potentially will do exceptionally well compared to others? Make sure you know exactly what you're buying into before you buy into a product, just because your agent says this is the next best thing. Oversupply. This one is huge, not just in terms of the area and in terms of building, but also in terms of unit mix. For example, we were looking at a building in D3 yesterday with a client of mine. We were looking at 1 beds or 2 beds or 3 beds within this unit. Actually, when you looked at the unit mix, because of how the unit was split out, there was actually less 1 beds than there were 2 beds within the building. So actually it meant if you were buying a 1 bed within that building, you had a scarcer supply than you did of 2 beds. So it made more sense to buy 2 1 beds than it did to buy 1 2 bed. And I think you have to go into that detail with the building and with the area, because if you're buying into something that's a carbon copy of everything else, your product is going to be a race to the bottom, not a race to the top when it comes to renting or when it comes to selling. No clear exit strategy. Again, the whole video, I've come back to it. What is your plan? What is your plan? Don't just be buying something for the sake of buying something. Actually know why we're invested in this product. Diversify that portfolio as well. Buy some products to rent out and buy some products for us to sell on handover or look to mortgage. Understand what our market is, understand what our strategy is, and make sure our plans fit the strategy before we go and invest in anything together. Dubai is all about luxury, and I think everything we talk about is luxury, 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 but what actually is luxury? And this is where you have to ensure that the product fits the target market. Everybody comes across as luxury, for example, but if you're building a luxury product in JVC, is that going to do as well as a bog standard mid-tier product that is meant for the area where people are only looking to rent a one bed for max 100K? If you're going onto the market with 150, 160K, is it going to rent? Is the demand going to be there? For example, Belgravia, an Ellington product in JVC, is the best performing building in JVC, and it's probably the most luxurious. But again, it's probably the worst building that Ellington have launched because they understood the market and they made it the best of a bad bunch rather than making it ultra luxury like they have on other projects that they've done. For me, it's all about what you want from your investment. Don't fall into the hype. Everybody talks about it, the hype, the hype, the hype. But understand your strategy. Understand exactly why you're doing this. Are you doing it for your kids? Are you doing it for you to make a quick bit of money? Everything you do has to be felt as rental yield. If you're doing it for you and the missus to have some money to go away, you're looking at a flip. So then we can look at different payment plan options. Really understand what your agent's saying and relate it to what your actual reasonings are. Because everybody comes to the market and saying, look, they want to invest, but actually, why are you invested? If you found this valuable, share, like, subscribe, and there'll definitely be more to come. See you soon.